Our next guest will look familiar to many of you, and which role you know her best from is a toss-up. Award-winning actress Caroline Aaron's career as a lovable and unforgettable character actress is prolific. She has appeared in over 100 box office hits and on television in shows like Grey's Anatomy, Modern Family, Sex and the City, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and so many more. Most recently, Caroline has reprised her role as Shirley Maisel in season 4 of Amazon's Golden Globe, SAG Award, and Emmy Award winning comedy, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We're so happy to welcome her to Your Best Self. Thanks for joining us, Caroline.
Thank you for having me.
Caroline, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is about many things. Stand-up comedy, living in New York City in the 1950s, Jewish family life. But it also tackles important issues such as women's roles at the time. I know your mother is a key inspiration for you in this role. Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about her rich history as a real trailblazer and your early life experiences?
Well, I grew up as a Jewish girl in the South, where there were very, very few Jewish families. And my mother was widowed early when she was 38 and left with 3 small children. And you know what they say, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Those were not her plans. She got a job at an all-Black university. It was the only place that would hire a woman in the 1960s. She was a lawyer, shy of taking the bar, but she had to go right to work to support her 3 young children. And then she became a civil rights activist. And when we became the year 2000, she was named one of the 100 most important Southerners of the millennium because she raised money from the Jewish community for Black education. And there were separate water fountains, separate bathrooms, all kinds of things. And we see, you know, this recycling now. I keep thinking about if my mother were alive today, things are going backwards instead of forwards. And but she was a mother in the 50s, not at all like the women of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She was a working mother. So you can see in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel that women were more decorative than they were effective. And we're still fighting some of the same fights that our title character, Midge, is fighting in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Now, despite your character's occasional hijinks, Shirley is really the matriarch and a pillar of support for the family and her grandchildren.
Yes.
Do you relate to her in this way?
That is the part. I mean, my life didn't resemble Shirley's life because, as I said, I was the only kid that I remember growing up who had a working mother. Everybody else had a housewife mother. But the thing that is an overlap between my life and Shirley's life is her fierce love for her family as the social structure that grounds everything else around you.
Your resume and credits are so extensive. Do you have any favorite roles and any avenues you're longing to explore?
Oh, many avenues. I mean, the thing that's so great about this profession, everybody knows what's so difficult about it, what's so challenging, but what's so great about it is you can never master it. There's always another mountain to climb. There's always something else to accomplish in terms of, favorite roles. That's really hard to pick because your favorite role is the one you're doing at the moment. So, of course, Shirley is in the top of the list. I would say a movie I did called Beyond the Sea about the life of Bobby Darin, because it was one of the very first times I played a person who was also walking around the earth. And that's its own special challenge. And that was a very exciting movie to be a part of. But I love working on Curb Your Enthusiasm because there's not one word written down. So it's all a big improvisation. And there you are learning from the masters of comedy. You know, you're just surrounded by people where you go, oh my God, I'm your student every day when I'm around those people. So it's really hard to pick one. I've just been really lucky.
Caroline, it was such a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you. And I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to watching what is next for you.
Thank you so much. Me too. If you find out first, let me know.
Well, that is it for us today on Your Best Self. I hope you all enjoyed the info, had some fun. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at YourBestSelfTV to get more tips, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Until next time, be well and see you soon.